Oh, here it is.
Welcome one and all to the Rialto Unified School District regular meeting of the Board of Education for August 14th, 2024. Okay, we called order at 6 p.m. and we are in open session. Can I have a motion and a second to move in?
Second.
Thank you. As approved by law, the following are the items for discussion and consideration at the closed session of the board meeting: public employee employment, discipline, dismissal, release, reassignment of employees per Government Code Section 54957, student expulsions, reinstatements, expulsion enrollments, conference with labor negotiators, agency designated representative, Edward DeSouza, acting superintendent, lead personnel agents, Rhonda Kramer, Roxanne Dominguez, and Armando Ortega, personnel services, employee organizations, California School Employees Association, Chapter 203, Rialto Education Association, Communication Workers of America, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, Delta, and/or Delta 3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure litigation, number of potential claims 1. Comments on closed session agenda items. Any person wishing to speak on any item on the closed session agenda will be granted 3 minutes. Dr. D'Souza, do we have any?
No, not.
Okay. Vote by board members to move into closed session.
Aye.
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 Thank you. We are missing Miss O'Kelly. Time is 6:02. See you in about. Okay, welcome back. We are back from closed session. I need a motion and a second
So move.
to adjourn closed session.
Second.
Thank you. Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Time is 7:02. We're getting better, folks. That's right on an hour. Thank you, Dr. D'Souza. Well, we lost him. Open session reconvened at 7:02. Pledge of Allegiance. Officer, would you lead us in the pledge, please? State your name.
My name is Officer Lang. Everyone stand, please. Place your right hand over your heart.
and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, Dr. D'Souza, do we have a report out of closed session?
Yes, we do. So the Board of Education accepted the request for an unpaid leave of absence for classified employee 2687334 from August 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. The roll call vote was unanimous. The Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Becky Moderger, academic agent for special services. The vote was roll call vote was unanimous. The Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Dania Sanders Hester, agent for early education. The roll call vote was unanimous. And that's all, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Dr. D'Souza. Okay, adoption of the agenda. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So move.
Second.
Good. Vote by board members to adopt the agenda.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, no presentations, comments, public comments on agenda items, Any person wishing to speak on any item on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes. Dr. D'Souza?
So we have one item on the agenda, which is F15, the California Financial Services item. So it's Jesse Landra.
State your name, please.
Jesse Landry. Jesse Landry. Good evening, members of the board, district staff, members of the public. My name is Jesse Landry. I'm with California Financial Services, and we serve as the district's municipal advisor in helping them access the bond
Start the
market
timer, please.
to provide funding in order to provide facilities for the students in the school district. So I'm here tonight. I wanted to talk about a couple items that are on the board's agenda and then on the corporation board, so the item mentioned under business services as well as the corporation item. So this item is in relation to a central kitchen project. I think the board, the district staff, the community is well aware of the amazing support that the Nutrition Services Division provides to the community and to the students of the Rialto Unified School District, preparing over 6 million meals annually, roughly more than 40,000 meals on a daily basis to the students. They provided and those meals being more than 50% of those meals being made from scratch. So just a tremendous output of what that personnel of the school district has provided to the community. Their current facilities are severely outdated in comparison to the output that they've done. So what we've been trying to do over the last year and a half is try to find a way that we can provide a facility that supports the Nutrition Services Division and all the great work that they've been doing. We wanted to find a way to finance that facility that wouldn't encroach upon the district's general fund and was going to be an appropriate use of existing dollars that the district had available. So we started to embark on this process roughly a year and a half ago. And we identified redevelopment revenues that the district's going to collect over the next 15 to 20 years as a repayment source in order to finance the central kitchen project. These redevelopment revenues are there are existing areas where the school district can receive restricted facilities dollars, and the district does receive those and has received them. They're on a short term, though. They start to fall off in roughly 15 to 20 years amongst these different project areas. So we went through a formal review process, and the district hired Public Economics Incorporated. Their firm did a thorough review. They actually worked with the county on their redevelopment program, so they're really the best across the entire state as far as analyzing these redevelopment areas. They provided us with historical information on collections and then also looked at the future collections for those redevelopment revenues to come up with a revenue stream. We've sized this transaction. This would be issued by the corporation. It's very similar to what the district did in 2017, so that this is not something unique that the district's doing. This is something the district has done in the past. We took our plan, we presented that to the County Office of Education. No comments received back, and they have approved the plan. Earlier today, district staff, led by Diane Romo, presented the credit to Moody's rating agency, did an amazing job in talking about the district's finances, and we received positive marks through that process. So we're looking forward to moving forward with this process, and when the item comes up, we'll be available to answer any questions the district
read my
or the
mind.
community might have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Romo, real quick, what is our credit rating now? Are we what, AAA again? Okay, A1. Thank you.
And you will be able to stay when the items come up for question? Okay, thank you.
Okay, public hearing, there is none. Consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar will be acted upon in one motion unless pulled by Board of Education members or the superintendent for individual action. Do we have a first and a second motion, and are there any pulls?
I do have a poll. It's going to be E3.15.
Anyone else?
You have questions, or you want to pull it off the calendar?
Either one.
Questions, okay.
If we need to discuss it, we pull it off the general function consent items and then vote separately.
Well, I make a motion then that we approve all items on the consent calendar except for E 315.
Second?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, roll call vote. Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez.
Aye.
Vice President Montez.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Okay, we go to 3E, 315. Okay, motion and a second on E 315, so we can discuss it.
So move?
Second.
Thank you. And this is to approve a renewal agreement with Care Solace, provide 24-hour mental health care coordination services for students and their families, effective August 15th, 2024, through June 30th, 2025, at a cost not to exceed $44,000 and to be paid from the general fund. ESSER 3. Questions or comments?
Yes. Do we have a representative from the district to answer questions?
Dr. Chavez?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I know that there was some concern from the community in regards to the services that Care Solis was being provided. Is there any way that the board can receive an update from the prior recipients of this program on the services that were provided and rendered from this organization to us, saying that if it was effective for them, if the services that were provided were complete, and the complaints that were brought forward are not what they were said to be?
Absolutely, we can provide that for you. We actually reached out to the company who had done a survey with the recipients of the program, and it has satisfied rating. And so I can provide a narrative for Dr. D'Souza who could share that with you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I have a comment. I believe a report was sent back, and the survey that it was one person that mentioned that, but it was overwhelmingly positive for the utilization. Mental health care coordination is very, very hard for children, and going through the insurance process of which service provider will see a younger child. So I think they have already submitted that. I received that data, and it was majority was a.
So that is true, Dr. Lewis, and I don't know if Dr. McMillan has that report, or do you have anything to say?
So we actually, that when we pulled that data, we know that it was requested. And so I do recall pulling that data. I don't know if it was provided, but apparently it was. But we can re-provide that information again, not only on usage, but on satisfaction.
Not just that, but I do want to continue making sure that we stay on top of it as well. Just because, if we are providing services, especially mental health being such an important issue, we want to make sure that we are providing accurate services to our children.
Absolutely. So I'll provide a narrative not only on the usage, on the satisfaction, but also a clear detail as to how we interact with Care Solace as a district, so a descriptor as well.
Perfect, and we're continuing to following up on that as well.
Absolutely.
Perfect, thank you.
Are we prepared to vote on this tonight?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, thank you.
Okay. Motion and second, we have it.
So move.
Okay, we have it.
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And aye. Thank you. Okay, and we look forward to that information.
Correct, thank you.
Okay, we move to discussion action items. Did I miss anything? Nope. Okay, F1, authorize the purchase, warranty, and installation of hardware, hardware maintenance, and software from Converge One, Inc., utilizing California Multiple Award Service or Schedule, CMAS number 3-24-7-1005. Motion and second, please.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Approve the use of California Multiple Award Schedule, CMOS number 3-24-07-1005, from Converge One, Inc., at a cost to be determined at the time of purchase and to be paid using various funds. Okay, questions, comments? Okay, how do you vote, Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. F2,
Bless you.
it's actually trying to clear my throat without,
I heard somebody sneeze.
I wish it were a sneeze. Okay, F2. Vice President Montez, can you continue reading, please?
Sure. To approve change order number 2 from RDM Electrical Co., Inc. in the amount of $107,490 for a revised contract amount of $6,303,293 for the two-story classroom buildings project at Eisenhower High School and to be paid for from Fund 21 Building Fund and Fund 25 Capitals Facilities Fund. Did we have a first and a second?
No.
Do we have a first?
So move.
Second.
Any questions or comments? I just want to say that this is a long time in the works, and it's good for it to finally be manifesting. So, all in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Ms. Lewis,
Dr. Lewis, aye.
Ms. Dominguez,
Aye.
myself, aye, and Mr. Martinez.
Aye.
You want me to continue?
Please do.
All right, next up is item F3. Approve a change order number for One Perfection Glass, Inc. for the two-story classroom buildings project at Eisenhower High School in the amount of $116,085 for a revised contract amount of $2,059,085 for the two-story classroom buildings project at Eisenhower High School and to be paid from Fund 21 General Obligation, GO Bond, and Fund 25 Capital Facilities Fund. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis and Mrs. Dominguez.
Aye.
And do we have any other questions or comments before we vote? Hearing none, Ms. Lewis, Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez,
Aye.
myself, aye, and Board President Martinez.
Aye.
All right.
I will attempt it again.
Well,
F4, approve deductive change order number 1 for Hamill Concrete, Inc. for the two-story classroom buildings project at Eisenhower High School. Motion and second, please.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Approve deductive change order number 1 for Hamill Concrete, Inc. in the amount of $167,668.24 and revise the contract amount from $2,037,983 to $1,870,314.76 for the two-story classroom buildings project at Eisenhower High School. Questions or comments? Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Approve change or F5, approve change orders and file a notice of completion for Terra Pave Inc. Motion and second, please.
So move.
Second.
Approve change orders for Terra Pave Inc. number 1 in the amount of $23,350. Change order number 2 in the amount of $9,716, and revise the awarded contract amount from $1,512,000 to $1,545,066 to be paid from the general fund routine repair maintenance account. Accept the work completed on June 17th, 2024 by Terra Pave Inc. for the District Office and Enrollment Center asphalt project, and authorize district staff to file a notice of completion with the San Bernardino County Recorder. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. And if you've driven by, it looks pretty good.
It sure does.
F6, ratify the approval for the purchase of student Chromebook devices using California Multiple Award Schedule, CMOS, 3/24/07/1005, awarded to Converge One, Inc. And motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This item is at a cost of $433,613.94 and to be paid from the general fund ELOP. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. F7, ratify an agreement with Practical Medical Local Education Agency Billing Option Program. Motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Provide Medi-Cal billing support effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th of 2025 at a cost not to exceed $212,653 and to be paid from the general fund. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. A little weak there. Aye. F8, approve the amendment to the agreement with Think Together, Inc. Motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Approve the grant award increase from the original agreement to provide after-school and enrichment for teens assets for Eisenhower High School from $237,500 with an additional amount of $60,000 effective August 15th, 2024 through December 31st of 2024 for a total grant award of $297,500. Questions?
Question.
Yes.
So the increase, is that an increase in hours or the number of students?
So what I know is that they got an increase in funds from their grant, but if Dr. Chavez wants to add to that, please do so. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Perez is here. I'm sorry, Mr. Perez is under me. Yeah.
We need to come up with our own Jeopardy jingle.
So I think it was in the board update too, because I asked him to make it clear that it was an increase in funds that they got for their grant amount, 60,000, what I remember.
In the narrative, I believe it's made clear.
Yeah, but is that more students? we're
Not
able
more
to
students, they-
Serve, or are you just
They just
increasing?
got more amount from the State Department for their grant that they wrote.
So we'll,
So that-
Basically, it's a
Yeah.
pass-through
Right.
grant to us, if I understand correctly.
Right.
Good afternoon, Board President, Board. My name is Norberto Perez, Lead Agent of Expanded Learning Programs and Safety Innovation. Can I get the question again? I'm sorry.
so with the increase in funding or the grant, will that allow us to serve more students or longer hours? Or you're just bumping it up for the same amount of students? Seem like there's a need, so should we
So the
open
state
it up?
decided, sorry.
No, that was my question.
So the state decided to give us an increase in funding. It does not increase the amount of students. What it increases are the programs to do more field trips or any type of activities, but it does not increase the students. This is only for Eisenhower under the
Right,
asset.
right. And so how many students are enrolled in this program?
Currently, we have around 250 enrolled that participate. On any given day, we have about 110 that participate.
And so we're figuring out the cost per student. It's not an increase in staff just for
Program.
program. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I guess we'll be doing more field trips, huh?
Yes, we actually have one planned to go to the SoFi Stadium for them.
And that's
cool.
transportation, you can use it for
Everything,
that?
exactly.
Thank you for the clarification.
Any other questions for him? Okay, thank you. Okay, how do you vote? Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. F9, approve a renewal agreement with Explore Learning Gizmos. Motion and second, please.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Provide Explore Learning Gizmos for all students in grades 6 through 12 for virtual labs effective August 15th, 2024 through June 30th, 2027 at a cost not to exceed $116,300 to be paid from the general fund. Questions or comments? It's a good deal for the kids. Okay, Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. I apologize. I think I've got this throat thing on the run. I'm allergic to dairy of all things, and I started eating yogurt for my health. Excuse me. Approve a renewal agreement with Scholastic. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Provide Literacy Pro for all elementary schools effective August 15th, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 at a cost not to exceed $71,918 and to be paid from the general fund, Title IV. Questions or comments? Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. F11, approve a renewal agreement with N2Y LLC. Motion and second, please.
So moved.
Do I hear second?
Second.
Thank you. Provide curriculum licenses and professional development training effective August 15th through June 30th, 2027 at a cost not to exceed $259,040.83 and to be paid from the general fund. Questions or comments? Okay, Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. F12, approve a renewal agreement with McGraw-Hill LLC, Achieve 3000 for Rialto High School. Motion and second, please.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Provide support for Rialto High School students for the 2024-2025 school year, effective August 15th, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, at a cost not to exceed $91,090.85, and to be paid from the general fund, Title I. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez,
Aye.
Vice President Montez,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Please take the next.
Got it. Approve a renewal agreement with Susan Smith Raleigh, OTD, OTR/L. Complete services in the 2024-2025 school year effective August 15, 2024 through June 30th, 2025, at a cost not to exceed $72,000 and to be paid from the general fund. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any questions or comments? All righty, Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Myself, aye, and Board President Martinez?
Aye. Let me try again. Thank you.
Problem.
F14, approve the Reading and Literacy Authorization
So moved.
Program. Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. Approve to pay the registration fee for 65 teachers to enroll in the Reading Literacy Authorization Program provided by the University of Southern California from September 3rd, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 at a cost of $5,000 per participant, including textbooks, not to exceed $325,000, and to be paid from the General Fund ESSER and Reading and Literacy Added Authorization, RLAA, grant funds. Questions or comments?
Question?
Go ahead.
What is the amount of the grant funds?
So, Dr. Lewis, we received a grant of about $650,000, and we will be able to utilize it to pay for 50% of the program over the next 5 years.
Thank you, that's great.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? It's good for the community. It's paid for by the government, basically. Yes. I can't urge anything because then I'd say how I'm going to vote. I don't want to influence. Okay, Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. F15, adopt resolution number 242506, authorizing the execution and delivery of Rialto Unified School District Certificates of Participation 2024 Kitchen and Meeting Facilities Financing. And did you catch that? It's also got meeting facilities. Anyway, motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And this is to authorize the execution and delivery of such certificates evidencing principal in an aggregate amount of not to exceed $55 million, authorizing the distribution of a preliminary official statement and an official statement in connection therewith, and authorizing the execution of necessary documents and certificates and related actions. Questions or comments?
Questions?
Go.
So first of all, I know that the facility is old, but my question is, reading this, how did we come up with using Carter High School as collateral? Why now? Due to different things our district is doing. Is there ample parking at that location for an event center? The other thing is we have all these change orders with Eisenhower. We have all these, the garden, all these other capital improvement project with our bond. Now, I know you stated in 2017, 7 years ago, that was the way a lot of things formed, so this is not unusual. But we just passed a bond, and that was part of the items that we were looking at. And then other districts are really not doing this as much anymore since we've been able to pass the bonds. So I think those were like for questions, all the questions that I have, so
very
you
good
can just
questions.
process.
Yeah, and maybe I'll work backwards. Very good questions, Board Member Lewis. I'll start backwards. Is it on? Okay. So maybe we'll start off with the collateral piece. And when we talk about why Carter High School, this process, whenever the corporation issues bonds, it's done in a way where the district leases a property to the facilities corporation. The facilities corporation leases it back to the school district. That's the mechanism under which the district is allowed to make these lease payments that ultimately end up paying back the certificates of participation, the payments that are due each year. So that's kind of the mechanism that we take. The plan is, though, is that once the central kitchen is completed, that the district will have flexibility to transfer the leased asset from Carter High School over to the central kitchen facility itself.
So the question is like, of all our properties, why Carter? I know that area is
and
booming.
part of it is with the
worth
review
more.
process that both the rating agency takes, that investors take, and then also we're planning on getting a municipal bond insurance and a reserve surety policy, and we'll likely use a company called Build America Mutual. That's going to help us lower the interest rates on the bonds. They have a very thorough review process, and that involves looking at all the buildings on each site. Carter High School, being one of the schools that was more recently built, was a good option to be able to alleviate some of the questions and some of the additional concerns that whether it be investors or these other agencies may have about a site that has much older facilities there. So that was the rationale in utilizing Carter High School. And really, it's just a mechanism to be able to allow the district to get the lease payments over to the investors to pay back the loan. And sorry, I know there was 4. Now that I've answered one, I've already forgot
Okay.
the other questions.
And so the last project that this corporation was formed, you're saying in 2017,
Yes.
that was for what type of facility?
So
and
that
the
was,
amount?
Yeah, and I wasn't working with the district at that time, but from my recollection, it's an energy efficiency project that was completed. Outstanding today is about 6.6 million, so I am aware of the amount that's outstanding today right now on that project. One of the key differences there is that with that certificate of participation, that's paid back from savings. The district was going to be expecting savings within its general fund from these energy efficiency projects, and the general fund is then utilized to make those payments back. What's different about this transaction is that it's targeting restricted facilities dollars, those RDA funds that can't be spent on district operations. So those are really stuck can only be spent on school district facilities. So that's one of the key differences, and we've sized this in such a way and examined those RDA revenues to make sure that those RDA revenues are going to be sufficient to make the payments. And Board Member Lewis, now I am remembering some of the other questions now. So on the GO bonds, that when the community voted in favor of Measure A, obviously that's a tremendous help for the district in meeting its facilities needs. I think the district staff believed that what was relayed to the community, what was communicated to them, was that these projects were going to be going into classrooms and touching actual classroom learning and students and school facilities at school sites. With this project, although this does, obviously, it does affect students in that we're going to be providing these meals and all the great work that Nutrition Services does. I think district staff had wanted to stay away from using this Measure A money that was approved by the community for these specific school facilities projects in classrooms. They didn't want to utilize this initial cut of money to go fund a district support services type project.
I think that's incorrect, but go ahead.
Yeah, and so while Measure A could be utilized for this purpose to fund that, I think the intent is to measure. There are so many projects in classrooms, and those were the earmarks that were going to be utilized, or what types of projects will be funded with Measure A. Other districts, when we talk about, I've seen COP financings across many districts. Obviously, the most common mechanism you see amongst school districts in California are general obligation bonds. I think when we have unique projects like this one, these are the types of instances where COP financings might be used. With different and I say COPs, I'm saying certificates of participation or a COP. if there might be some bad view of COPS, it's whenever they're issued in such a way where there's not a backstop and there's not a plan. The district spent a long time leading up to this point to build this repayment plan.
Could you just use the full name so we don't confuse?
Yeah, certificate
so we
of
don't confuse-
participation, yeah. So we built this full plan through these RDA revenues to pay it back where there's no expectation it'll encroach
For
on
the
the general
public,
fund.
RDA?
Redevelopment revenues that come into the district restricted for facilities dollars and well in excess, those RDA redevelopment dollars are well in excess of the amounts required for the lease payments. So we have a substantial coverage amount over, based on the collections that were received in 23, 24, we're projecting, based on public economics analysis, around 160% coverage on an annual basis in order to make these payments. So we feel like that's given us confidence that this is a conservative approach to being able to finance the facility, utilize restricted facilities dollars, and not encroach upon the general fund.
And in case we've had like the 3-year out plan, in case the budget would drop from the state funding and the district might need to borrow it for actually operational costs, how would our loan situation, since we still have one outstanding, this will be a second, and we have quite a few capital improvement, how will that in 3 years out, how will, if we need to borrow for operational staff, personnel, where would that sit us?
Yeah, and so borrowing from these types of funds for operational use could only be done on a short-term basis, right? We couldn't cross over fiscal years. If the district were to say, hey, I would like to use redevelopment revenues to fund some operational piece, I would probably caution against that because the redevelopment revenues cannot be spent on operational items. Yeah, they're restricted to facilities projects. So while you could technically, legally transfer funds over for a short period of time, that option would still be available. These revenues, as they're coming in, are, like I said, we're roughly 160%. So there's going to be excess revenues that are going to be produced after the payment of both lease obligations, the existing 2017 COP and then the 2024 COP. There's going to be additional RDA revenues that are available.
No, the question was our debt that we have. So these will be major outstanding debt. So if we need to borrow for operation on a different funds, not these, how's our debt ceiling that we have? Because we have so much out, given, we have to do change orders of these major projects,
Yeah, so I
taking
don't.
this additional debt.
So traditionally, districts would borrow for operational expenses under a trans or tax revenue anticipation note. Those are short-term obligations that are not considered long-term obligations. So I wouldn't foresee any effect at all. And again, with that conversation with the rating agency today, their initial indication was that there would be no change to the existing credit rating of the district. So that would set the district up well for if it did have to access the market again in the future, if it had to issue trans or tax revenue anticipation notes for operational purposes.
Thank you. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Bear with me. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, well done,
Thank
by
you.
the way. And the meeting facility doesn't meet my dream of 1,200 seats, but I think it's around 750. Is that right? That's, yeah. I threw the vision out there of 1,200.
If I could
We'll
have
get-
Angie Lopez, Director of Facilities,
Yes.
answer the question.
Good evening, President Martinez and Board of Education. My name is Angie Lopez, and I'm the agent for facilities planning. And I did not hear the question.
There was no question.
Oh, I thought, oh, okay.
The meeting facility capacity. The meeting facility capacity, like,
I believe it's 750.
Well, we're still working on the actual design of the second floor. So
1,200.
So we still don't know. We're kind of finishing the feasibility study at this time, so we still don't have an exact number of what that will be. But when we do, we will present it to the board.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
You're
Lopez.
welcome.
Okay, we're ready to vote. Dr. Lewis.
abstain.
Okay. Clerk Dominguez,
Aye.
Vice President Montez,
Aye.
and myself, aye. F16, Approve an amendment to the employment agreement of Acting Superintendent Edward D'Souza, PhD. Motion and second, please.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Approve an amendment to the salary increase for Acting Superintendent Edward D'Souza, PhD, to correct an error in the salary information that was reported out at the July 10th, 2024 board meeting. Prior to the voting on this item, consistent with Government Code Section 54953, the board president will orally report a summary of his salary compensation provided under the contract. I do not have that in front of me.
That's all I had in my
Folks, reality in action here. Secretaries run the world. Even if they're executive associates.
We can move to the next and come back.
Okay, we are going to table F16 temporarily, bring it back shortly. Okay, reinstatements. Let me pull my notes here. Okay, do we have a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
Okay, do we have any polls to vote on separately? I'd like to vote on 23, 24, 30, 23, 24, 27, 23, 24, 10 separately, please. Okay, are we ready to vote on the others?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we are voting on 23, 24, 29, 23, 20, I'm sorry, 22, 23, 44, 22, 23, 14. Okay. Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez,
Aye.
Vice President Montez,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Okay,
I make a motion to approve the remaining items.
okay, that would be 23, 24, 30, 23, 24, 27, 23, 24, 10. Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, no. Okay, do we have that information yet? Okay. Well, do we have public comments not on the agenda?
Yeah, we do. So the first person is Sandy Troyo.
I strongly suggest we just finish with the agenda before going on to public comments. So either we wait or we just bring this item back.
So let's wait 2 minutes.
You know, this should have already been prepared.
So we can bring it next time.
Is it okay if we bring it next time
You gonna make
to
a
the
motion?
next agenda? Okay. Okay. Okay, hot off the press, folks. F16. Pursuant to Government Code 54953.
It was already read. You have a motion and a second.
Yep. Okay, I was just going through it. Keep everybody up to speed.
Do you want to get it do you want to redo it? We should, because we did another item, right? So
Yeah.
moved.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, pursuant to Government Code 54953C3, prior to taking final action, the board must orally report a summary of a recommendation for action on the salary or compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits of a local agency executive before discussion and vote. The proposed recommendation is to approve a salary increase of 1.07%, July 1st, 2024, for the acting superintendent as stipulated in his contract. And that reads as follows. The acting superintendent's base salary shall be $303,210.00 per year, plus $15,161.00 for his doctoral stipend, $12,512.00 for longevity. All other terms and conditions of the contract for employment, including those related to fringe benefits, are unchanged. Okay, we had a motion and second. Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Question.
Yes.
What was the error in needing to bring this item back?
So when the readout from the last board meeting, it read that the base salary was the total amount instead of the base salary being the 303,000. It added the 303,000, what was read out, the 15,000, and then the 12,000 for the doctorate was all lumped in, saying the base was the 318.
Okay.
And who presented it that way?
I would have to go and look at the document on that. So I could get that information to Dr. D'Souza for you.
These are real big mistakes. And
Yeah.
when we're talking about acting superintendent contracts, we want to make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed, because we bring these items back to fix, it looks inappropriate. So if you could do so,
I
please.
understand.
Yeah. And then also, let's have the stuff prepared too, because.
Yeah.
I have to remind everyone, this was really on the fly. This wasn't a scheduled agenda item. It was an emergency item.
No, I understand, but someone made a mistake.
But the public needs to know the whole picture.
Right. And then if it's on the agenda, the material should be prepared so we can take action on it moving forward.
Okay. And we go back to F16 for a vote. Okay, Dr. Lewis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Clerk Dominguez?
Aye.
Vice President Montez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Thank you. Okay, public comments not on the agenda.
So the first person is Sandy Trujillo Langdon. There's no subject listed.
Welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, Board President, Board, and viewing audiences. My name is Sandra Trujillo Langdon. I'm here officially to present you with my formal complaint against Jennifer Cuevas for the violation of my son's civil rights. You are the board, and I expect you to hold accountability for this. And I will be giving you each a copy of the complaint. And you have to give it to him. I can't. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person is Erin Wheatley on the seed capsize.
Good evening, board members. My name is Erin Wheatley. I am a TKC teacher over at Dullahan. We specialize in special needs students. I am pleading with you all to lower our cap size. Currently, it's at 15. At the beginning of like 4 years ago was 8, and we were able to successfully transfer more of these students to the general ed population, which is the meaning of the SEED program. However, right now, with 15 kids that are coming in more severe, I'm talking about kicking, hitting, screaming at the top of their lungs, biting, on top of them needing feeding tubes, we cannot possibly administer FAPE and deal with all of their intricacies in the IEP with a cap of 15. So I'm asking you guys to lower the cap to 8 so we can administer their IEPs and transfer them to the general ed to the best of their abilities, to the best of our abilities. I'm also asking for more of a BSA, Behavioral Support Assistant subpool. When we are out of subs, our own BSAs, there currently is no subpool. So can you imagine a class of 15 extreme students with only 2 support staff? No, we can't do that. So I'm asking for an MOU of 8 students so we could prosper and continue servicing our kids. Thank you.
Did you get my email today?
Yes, I did earlier.
Oh, okay. It is being worked on. I can't comment because of negotiations for an MOU.
Okay.
Please check with REA.
Okay, thank you so much.
And I'm sorry,
Thank
can you
you.
repeat your name again?
I'm sorry.
Repeat your name?
Aaron Weeksley.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Celia Saravia.
Buenas noches, miembros de la mesa directiva.
Good evening, board members.
Presidente Mr. Martínez, vicepresidente Mr. Montes, superintendente activo Dr. De Sousa, audiencia.
Everyone mentioned and audience.
Soy Celia Sarabia y represento a Amigos Unidos, grupo de apoyo para padres de niños con necesidades especiales.
I'm Celia Sarabia, and I represent Amigos Unidos
La Parent Support Group.
and Parent Support Group.
Esta noche queremos darle la bienvenida a todos los estudiantes.
We'd like to welcome all students back to school.
Estamos empezando el nuevo año escolar 24-25
We're starting the new school year, 24-25,
y queremos el éxito de nuestros estudiantes y para eso necesitamos trabajar todos juntos.
We want students to be successful, and for that, in order to have that, we need to work together.
Los padres, los maestros, el distrito,
Parents, students, teachers, the district,
para que tengamos éxito y que también que tengan inclusión, el 100% de la inclusión, trabajar en la inclusión de nuestros niños de educación especial.
so that we can be successful and have full inclusion, especially on our special education program.
Pero para que esto pase y que tenga éxito, necesitemos también que los maestros tengan mucho apoyo.
In order for this to happen, we need to make sure that that teachers have the adequate support.
Yo me uno a los maestros porque yo soy mamá de un niño especial y a veces me frustro solo con mi hijo. Entonces me pongo en la posición de ellos con 15.
I support teachers because myself, I have a child, and just with one, I get frustrated. I can't imagine having 15.
Así es que por favor, unámonos todos, por favor, distrito. Yo sé que han venido trabajando fuerte con educación especial, que hemos tenido mucho apoyo. También les pedimos el apoyo para los maestros.
So I know that we've been working together, and we've been working really hard. So please, district, I ask that we provide the support that's needed.
Recordemos siempre que juntos vamos a hacer la diferencia.
Let's remember that together we can make a difference.
También agradecer a nuestra mesa directiva, al superintendente, Dr. De Sousa, a la doctora Gibb,
I would also like to thank our board, Dr. D'Souza and Dr. Gibbs,
por darnos la oportunidad a los padres
for giving the parents the opportunity
de prepararnos.
to prepare ourselves.
Invito a todos los padres a registrarse
I ask all parents and invite them to register
en las clases de literatura y matemáticas
And
de
the lit-
USC.
in the literacy and numeracy classes with USC.
Es una gran herramienta
It's a great tool
para apoyar a nuestros hijos en su aprendizaje.
to be able to support our students in their learning.
Así que todos papás, por favor, vengan, seamos productivos, tenemos que ser bien positivos también y lo mejor para poder ayudar a nuestros hijos es educarnos.
So parents, come on, we have to be positive, we have to participate, and the best way to support our children is to be positive.
Y nuestro distrito nos está dando las herramientas, así que aprovechémoslas.
And our district is giving us the opportunities and tools, so let's make sure we use them.
USC. Gracias, buenas noches.
Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you. Next, we have Frank Montes on the First Amendment Board retaliation.
Good evening, President, board members, members of the community, and staff. My name is Frank Montes. I would like to give a basic summary of my speech up front. Self-interest and self-preservation has no place in elected office. It is that simple. Those seated at the dais should always remember this. As public servants, those serving in elected office bear a critical responsibility to ensure a well-run, effective learning environment for our community's children. However, the simple truth is this: you cannot serve two masters. Your oath to the district and community should never be compromised by personal ambitions or actions that endanger students or tarnish our community's reputation. Regrettably, some board members ignore these principles. They create conflicts of interest by overstepping their boundaries when interjecting their politics into city council matters, all to steer community development and satisfy personal interest and gains. Political actions driven by profit and revenue come at a cost to our community. Worse still, some resort to retaliation against those advocating for responsible community development. This behavior undermines trust and accountability. As representatives of our children, parents, staff, and teachers, your actions reflect upon our district and community. Negligence, whether public drunkenness, vendor payment issues, or hostile work environments, fails our shared mission. Mishandling of funds is another major concern because there seems to be a lack of transparency and accountability, as in the case with the $50,000 cost for a district special education audit that was kept hidden from the public. Remember, you are not here for personal gain. Voters entrusted you to improve lives. Having been involved as an activist in small business and local community matters, I can recognize meaningful debate on issues with those of opposing views. To the shift to political tactics that shut down such discussions, to the matter becoming personal and vindictive. This community deserves better. And when you misbehave or act unilaterally to self-preservation's sake, you must be called out publicly.
Mr. Montes, your time is up, but if you'd like to turn that in, I'll get it to the rest of the board. Thank you.
Next, we have Steve Figueroa, public comment on First Amendment.
First of all, thank you for allowing me to come, but going what Mr. Montes said, we want a copy of that audit. Public is entitled to a copy of that special ed audit, especially since, like we all read in the paper and we all knew, you can spend all this money on tacos, why can't you spend it in special ed supports, right? Right, so we fight. I'm an advocate for families with children with disabilities, and we don't like our board members drunk at events. It's that simple, I think, right? And if you are, you're going to entrust yourself with kids, then don't drink. And I think you know who I'm talking about, all right? On the other hand, in addition to that, and as part of that superintendent report, why didn't you tell the public we're paying for 2 superintendents? That's almost $700,000 a year. that money that could be in the teachers' classrooms for aids, for behavioral supports, for assistive technologies, for Orton Gillingham reading programs, because that's when it starts, when they're young. You guys misspend a lot of money. You let the public what you want to know, but without telling the full truth. There's a lack of integrity in this Harper Valley PTA board over here, you know? You need to go listen to that song, I mean, it plays right into you guys, I felt like last time I was here, I was in an episode of Pain Place. But, I'm very concerned that, certain board members have violated First Amendment retaliation against individuals, whether they be employees, whether they be put people at the podium, utilize their position to steer contracts, perhaps, utilize their positions to attack individuals, or in most city councils or school board meetings I go, I'd like to know why you never declare conflicts of interest. Like the last time you made some votes, that should be the first opening statement, to declare your conflicts of interest. That's where you're violating the Brown Act, because a lot of you guys vote, and especially two people here vote, and you have a lot of conflicts of interest, especially like when there's investigations going on and then you're voting to get rid of that person's job. That's called a conflict of interest. Or when they speak and then later on you tell somebody to kill a contractor, that's called conflict of interest. So you're violating the Brown Act when you don't declare your conflicts of interest. And it's about integrity, just doing the right thing even when it's not popular, doing the right thing even when it might harm you. And I really think I called last time for, I think, Evelyn, you should resign. What we read in the paper, that should be turned over to the district attorney. That's fraud. So, I'm saying it publicly. It should be turned over. In fact, it's required by law to be turned over to the district attorney, at least for to see if there's an indictment here or something. But thank you. All right.
Next, we have Dakira Williams on trap improvement.
Good evening, Board President Martinez, members of the board, Acting Superintendent D'Souza, and everybody here. Again, my name is Dakira Williams, like Shakira, but with a D. I'm a proud Trap Timberwolf mom, and I just wanted to thank Lead Agent Diane Romo, Business Services, and all of the administration staff and board members who are involved in the process for the recent capital improvements over at Trap Elementary. The children there are they're elated. We have a new playground, more children can fit on it. We have our new sign board that's now working. It's been there for a while, not working. And now even in front of the kinder playground, where it was previously a see-through gate, so anyone walking by could pretty much interact with the kids, is now private. There's privacy slats in there. And so as a parent, that just makes me feel like the campus is just that much more safe. And I even heard there's going to be a facelift with painting. And so for one of the dated campuses, it just does a lot for the kids and their pride in their school, because, they do drive past the other schools that are a little newer. So I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Mona Ruiz.
Good evening, board, viewing audience. My name is Myrna Reese, and I did not put a subject on my agenda because I have so many, and I have 3 minutes. First of all, I do want to say welcome back to school. Everybody, wishing everybody have a wonderful year. Except, I really like those poster boards right there, but I wonder how many of those classes and photo ops that we had are included our kids with special education. I don't think any. And that's what I want to talk about. Our district promotes, and we keep preaching about inclusion, but yet we don't include the very people and the very students that we talk about. We're always leaving them behind. With that saying, I've asked for communication, transparency. The district has a huge deficit on that. just what you guys went through right now, how, some of the people here were not prepared, that's what we go through in IEPs, where the people are not prepared, the team is not prepared, and we have to wait. So you got a little bit of what we go through. I do want to say thank you to Dr. Chavez, thank you to Dr. Burciaga. There was a parent that it was in need yesterday, actually the day before yesterday, for her student. And they called, they took care of it. Her student is ready, she started school today. So thank you very much for everything that you guys do. I appreciate that. I want to also really quick, exactly what Ms. Whitley mentioned with the teachers, early intervention is crucial, crucial. And we need to help the teachers. There is no excuse whatsoever that we don't have the support. We find it. Just like Mr. Figueroa mentioned, that we're paying two superintendents. Well, we need to find that money to get more people to help our students, help our teachers. They need the support. Otherwise, everything that we preach about is going nowhere. I also want to, let me see. I'm going to end on a positive. To the literacy program, I participated on that. It was amazing. It was wonderful. Yes, parents, we need to participate more on that. So thank you, Dr. Gibbs, for bringing that.
Next, we have Tracy Salinas on bullying and passing grades.
Sorry. Good evening. Okay. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed educators and fellow parents, today I want to address a pressing issue that affects our children, the experience of moving up a grade despite not fully understanding the curriculum alongside the pervasive problem of bullying that leaves many students frightened to step foot in school. Each year, we see countless students promoted to the next grade, even though they have not grasped the foundational concepts necessary for success. While the intention behind this practice may be to promote inclusivity and prevent discouragement, we must ask ourselves, are we truly preparing our children for the future? Moving students ahead without ensuring they understand the material does them a disservice. It fosters a sense of inadequacy and anxiety, leaving them ill-equipped to face the challenges of the next grade. Furthermore, the issue of bullying compounds this problem. Imagine being a student struggling to keep up with your lessons while also feeling unsafe within your school environment. Bullying can take many forms: physical, verbal, emotional, and the fear of being targeted can lead to chronic stress and anxiety. This daily apprehension makes it difficult for our children to focus and engage in their studies. We need to create a culture within our schools that prioritizes emotional well-being alongside academic achievement. This means implementing programs that focus on social and emotional learning, teaching our children to empathize with one another, stand up against bullying, and understand the importance of a supportive community. We must also advocate for better communication between teachers, parents, and students. Regular assessments should be conducted not just at the end of the year, but throughout the academic journey to ensure that every student has a solid understanding of the curriculum before moving on. So in closing, we owe it to our children to advocate for an educational system that truly prepares them for the future, a system that acknowledges their struggles and ensures their safety and well-being. It is our responsibility to collaborate, share ideas, and work tirelessly to bring about the positive change in our schools that our schools desperately need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My glasses, yeah.
Next, we have Christine Lynn Haynes on education and past practices.
Good evening, members of the board, the community. I'm here mostly to speak about our children that don't have IEPs. The ones that are excelling are great. The ones that don't just fall short of the IEPs, they're falling through the cracks. They're not. For the past 6 years, we've dealt with not having an IEP, and she has had my daughter, who is now just been passed into 7th grade or 6th grade, has no idea about middle school. She has had given her a first grade reading level, even though she doesn't qualify for an IEP since first grade. With this pandemic, our kids have suffered. There's not a lot of them. A lot of them have caught on, but unless they have an IEP, they don't qualify for any help. Nobody is there to help them, and she's lost. Now as she goes into sixth grade in middle school, the same challenges, they persist. She still gets bullied. Now there's been incidents in just the first week of her belongings being disrupted by other kids, her lunch money being taken, and she's struggling with basic skills such as reading and math, and even knowing what a decimal point signifies. And this is just the first week of school. She's been dealing with this it's been going on for 6 years now. And these kids that are falling in the cracks, they're not getting noticed. Everybody knows them. They've got the intelligence, but they're falling behind. And they don't qualify for extra help because they don't have an IEP. I've taken her to 2 psychiatrists in the last 6 years trying to get her an IEP. I've had 2 psychiatrists look at me and says, I'm not even going to give you the paperwork. She's not impulsive. She's cunning. Okay, so she's cunning. So how do we get her the help? And the other kids just like her. This pandemic had all these kids fall behind. Now she's in 6th grade. How many other kids are in 6th grade and have no idea what middle school is about? And we've gone to the school. I've been active all 6 years. She's been in the same school. My consistency and stability, I've done what I can do as a parent, though there is no. Sorry.
Your
Thank
time
you.
is up.
Thank you.
Thank you for the information.
Luvia Nava, Parent Institute.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva, Dr. de Sousa y audiencia.
Good afternoon, Dr. De Souza, board and audience.
Mi nombre es Luvia Nava.
My name is Lubia Nava.
Y hoy estoy aquí, hace algunos meses vine, o semanas, no recuerdo, vine a hablarles un poco sobre cuando no nos reciben bien en los lugares donde queremos ser voluntarios.
A few weeks or months ago, I was here because we're not necessarily welcomed in the places that we go to.
Antes que nada, quiero resaltar una frase que está en el sitio de internet sobre el Centro de Padres, que dice, el Instituto de Padres es un espacio acogedor y seguro para los padres.
First, I would like to highlight a quote that is of the Parent Institute, that the Parent Institute is a welcoming and safe space for parents.
Pues mi experiencia personal no lo es, y hoy vengo a hablar del señor Joseph Williams.
Today I'm here to tell you that hasn't been my experience, and I would like to talk to you about Mr. Joseph Williams.
El pasado viernes fui a llevar una hoja para voluntario.
Last Friday, I went to go drop off a volunteer form.
Para que me la firmaran porque siempre he sido voluntaria del Centro de Padres y otras escuelas.
To have it signed, because I've always been a volunteer at the Parent Center in other schools.
Me recibió la señora Wendy muy amable y me dijo que le iba a pasar mi hoja al señor Williams.
Miss Wendy welcomed me. She was very kind, and she told me that she would forward my application to Mr. Williams.
Mi sorpresa fue que el señor no la quiso firmar porque argumentó que había una frase que decía all schools y que nadie puede poner esa frase, siendo que él tenía su propio espacio para firmar.
To my surprise, he refused to sign it, saying that there was a phrase on my forms that he wasn't able to sign. It said that I had all schools to volunteer when he has his own space to sign.
La señora Wendy, al ver la situación, me dijo que solo tacháramos y pusiera mi inicial y abajo se ponía lo del centro de padres.
Miss Wendy, trying to help, she told me to cross it out, place my initials, and then at the bottom, put Parent Center.
Él dijo, volvió a decir que no y dijo que porque nadie podía poner esa frase. Yo le expliqué a Wendy que habíamos venido él en junio 6 a un evento de padres voluntarios donde dieron unas hojas que decía que podíamos poner todas las escuelas.
I told Miss Wendy that on June 6th, we came to a workshop where they told us that we can put all schools.
Y dijo que no. Entonces, para resolver, porque la verdad fue un momento muy vergonzoso y humillante porque él en ningún momento ni saludó ni me regresó a ver.
And it was a very uncomfortable and embarrassing moment because at no point did he look at me or did he acknowledge me.
Su actitud fue muy déspota y arrogante para mi gusto.
He was very arrogant and disrespectful.
Wendy, al ver la situación, porque vio mi cara desencajada, de vergüenza, la verdad, dijo que no me preocupara, que ella iba a llenar una hoja nueva y que se la iba a dar al señor Williams y que ella la mandaba.
Wendy, when she saw my face and how uncomfortable and disgusted I was by his behavior, she said that she would take the form, create a new one, fill it out, and forward it to him to sign.
El problema de esto que yo he notado que el señor Williams, al menos yo que hablo español, como que veo ciertas actitudes y no quiero pensar que es porque piense que no sé hablar inglés, no me puedo defender.
Now, I've seen certain behaviors with Mr. Williams, and I wouldn't want to believe that just because I don't speak English, he doesn't think that I can defend myself.
En cuanto me tranquilicé, me subí al carro, me tranquilicé porque sí estaba muy afectada, la verdad.
When I was able to calm down, because I was actually really affected, I was able to calm down.
Vine a la oficina donde se entregan las hojas a preguntar si eso era un impedimento para que él me firmara.
I came here to the district where we submit these forms, and I asked, was that an impediment for him
Y
to
me
sign my
dijeron
form?
que no, que él podía haber firmado esa hoja.
They answered me, and they said no, that he should have been able to sign the form.
Después se la llevé a otro director y sí me la firmó, no puso ninguna excusa.
I took it to another principal, and then they signed it. They had no reasons to not sign it.
Hasta ese momento yo no pensaba hacer público nada porque la verdad sí estaba muy avergonzada. O sea, la avergonzada fui yo.
Not until then did I didn't think about speaking up on this because I was embarrassed.
Resulta que minutos después me habló una amiga mía.
Turns out that minutes later, a friend of mine called.
Él no me pudo firmar la hoja porque estaba una frase que decía old school, pero sí tuvo el atrevimiento de hablarle a mi amiga para decirle.
So he did not sign my form because it said odd schools, but he dared and called my friend.
Para decirle que me dijera a mí que todo fue un malentendido.
And asked her to tell me that it had all been a misunderstanding.
O sea, que a veces se puede hacer lo correcto y a veces no. En ningún momento yo me sentí, más bien yo sentí que él vulneró, yo sentí que él vulneró esa privacidad. Yo lo quería mantener en privado porque, repito, me sentí muy avergonzada.
So then sometimes you can do the right thing and sometimes you can choose not to, because at that point I feel like he invaded my privacy.
Él tiene mi correo electrónico, tiene mi número de teléfono y le pudo pedir a alguien que se comunicara conmigo para explicarme la situación.
He has my phone number, he has my contact information and my email, so he could have asked someone to reach out to me to explain the situation.
No tuvo que involucrar a otra persona externa que no sabía nada del tema, por cierto.
There was no need to involve anybody else who had nothing to do with the topic.
Thank you.
That's all President Martinez.
All right. Thank you, Dr. D'Souza. Okay, let me recompose myself here. Okay, we go to comments from Association Executive Board members, REA, Rialto Education Association.
President Martinez, hang on a moment, please.
Yes.
I believe we have a comment on boarding.
Another
speaking slip?
Yeah, I think it's. So this is a live board meeting. Does somebody want to take the mic?
Hi, I had put in a slip for items not on the agenda, and my name was not called.
I apologize.
No worries.
Go ahead.
Is it there?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
no worries, no worries. Good evening, everyone in attendance and viewing the audience at home. Michael Montano, Rialto resident and educator of 20 years. Welcome back, everyone. I want to speak on three things. One being safety. So we all know that safety is a big concern of us. In particular to safety, our security officers. Again, I cannot give a shout out enough to the work they do, and over the years, more and more has been asked of them, just like the teachers. When us teachers run into issues in the classroom or outside of the classroom, they are the first that we call for. It's my understanding that as the redesignation of job titles and descriptions is being completed, it has been shared with me, and I hope it's accurate, that there are some positions, and I don't want to disrespect any other positions, but some have jumped up several levels in pay when they don't face risks that our security officers do, and our security officers jump up one level when they face risk every day, some that's out of their control. So, I think if we want to retain our safety officers, that we should pay them what they're worth. And they're protecting our kids, and they're putting themselves at risk. And any accusation could be made at them at any time. So I think we should acknowledge that, and their pay should acknowledge that as well. Secondly, I want to speak about agency. We promote agency throughout the district. Our strategic plan promotes agency. At Rialto High, we were when we went through the WASP accreditation 3 years ago, that was one of the things that we really shined on, was agency. And since then, I'm sure it's not just at our site, it seems like agency is being pulled out from under us from the district level. For some examples, even at school site council that approves certain programs to be paid, it gets pulled. Sometimes we've been told that there's lack of data, or the data shows it doesn't work. Specifically, I'm thinking of examples like for reading, which is very important to us. And I'll use the example, kind of contrary, our SE reading program. All for it. I convinced 3 people to join the program. They completed it successfully. I don't know if data shows that we're getting gains from that. I'm sure we are, but we continue with that. And when we have other programs that data shows that it helps, or maybe we haven't collected data yet, and those programs are no longer approved, that's a little disconcerting. So again, agency, we should be about agency. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I apologize, President Martinez. There's one more slip, and I mixed Michael's too. It's Edwin Delgado from 5th District Youth Advisory Council.
Okay.
Good evening, Board
We'll
President,
be back to REA shortly.
board members, and distinguished guests. My name is Edwin Delgado, and I am here representing 5th District Supervisor Joe Baca Jr., here to introduce an exciting opportunity for our high school juniors and seniors. Our office has opened applications for our second Youth Advisory Council cohort of students. This council allows students to challenge themselves, learn new skills, and gain confidence by building relationships and collaborating with peers and community leaders. This is the second year we've done this program, and it's been exciting. We believe the council offers a unique platform for students to make a meaningful impact and develop themselves as future leaders in our community. We just want to thank you for your time. The application's open on the 5th District website, BOSD 5. Supervisor Baca, and if there's any need for any more details, I will make sure to send information to district staff. Thank you.
Thank the supervisor for us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, and that really ends the slips.
Okay. REA, you ready?
Good evening, school board.
Dr. D'Souza, Board President, Mr. Martinez. Welcome back. I hope that everybody had a fun and fulfilling summer. My summer was very busy. I attended numerous conferences and training sessions. Perhaps my favorite, though, was the Excellence Conference that we had here in Rialto. Dr. Ayana Balagon did an exceptional job of organizing this event. Most of the presenters were our own amazing teachers with a very few wonderful outside voices that were our keynote speakers. REA was glad to partner with the district in putting on this event. We provided breakfast each day, and we helped to publicize it and spread the word. Attendance this year was up, and so much so that I think next year we're going to have to look for a different, larger site to do this at, so we can provide even more opportunities for more people to attend. As board members, you should have received some emails this week from a variety of our members that are upset about some issues that are going on in the district, primarily around MOUs that were not renewed. And you heard from one member tonight around the issue of the SEED MOU. I'm not going to go into the details of what those MOUs are, but I want to speak on behalf of those teachers and let you know where they're coming from. They're making a plea to you on behalf of our students. I think you heard that very much from our member who spoke about the SEED program. These are 4-year-olds in the TK program, and she described what they deal with on a daily basis. And they had a cap of 8 students for many years, and this year the MOU was pulled, and they're saying it's a level of 15. We believe it should be at 8. I'm supporting my members. That's what they would like to see. One of the things she didn't tell you is that a lot of those students are not potty trained. And so the teachers then have to deal with toileting as well. And so this is another issue that's on top of that. Another group of teachers that have an issue that you hopefully have been hearing about is our kindergarten teachers. Kindergarten has gone through multiple sort of iterations of change. The first one is they used to be a half-day program, and the teachers would teach half day with the little kids, and then they would have some time after that to prepare for the next day. Everything has to be prepared early for the kinder class because the kids can't help you in the classroom. You have to have it all ready for them the minute they show up for the time that they're there, and then they would go and help in other classrooms. Then we moved it from half day to an extended day. So their teachers were working longer with the kids. They no longer were helping in other classes afterwards because they used to do that. Now they are just having a little bit of time for prep. And now we're at a full day model where they're with the kids all day long, like a regular classroom. And they were provided with 1 hour of support last year. We would like to see that support continued in order for them to really have the impact with those kids. And as you heard, that early interventions, the things that we do with them when they're little, have so much of a bigger impact down the road. And this is not the place to be cutting. You heard from several speakers tonight talking about how much money we're spending on some positions. One position in particular where we have a person that's out on leave and another person that's filling in. $700,000 was the amount that was thrown out. That would be the salaries of 10 brand new teachers, just to put that in context. And the $700,000 is just the salaries. If you were to throw in the actual cost of their benefits, now we're over $1 million for 2 people in a single position, because one of them's out on paid leave. And that's a lot of money. And so to go to our parents and say, hey, we don't have the money to afford a class size cap so these kids can have 8 kids in a class, or we can't provide that support for our kindergarten teachers. I think we're focusing on the wrong things, right? We have to figure out ways to get these things done. And so I'm here tonight to encourage you to direct staff, because that's your job, to go back and give us the MOUs that we had last year. Just straight across the board. That's the right thing to do. Our community deserves that. It's time for us to stand up for our students. Our community saw last year how our teachers organized for better pay to attract and retain teachers. We fought to make sure that every student had a qualified teacher in the classroom. And we're going to continue to organize for our students to receive basic supports for safer schools. And we're not going to stand down when our youngest, most vulnerable students need us the most. And we're asking you, our school board, to do the same. So please direct the staff to give us the same MOUs we had last year. And let's keep our students at the forefront of what we do. Thank you.
I always do that. I look at you and it's to me. Okay, California School Employees Association, CSEA. Like the shirt?
Thank you. I felt like dressing like the weather today, you know. Good evening, Rialto family. I'm Chris Cordasco. I'm the CSDA Chapter 203 president. First off, I want to just say that I'm very excited to report that we will finally be voting on our contract. Our district and CSCA was able to complete those negotiations over the summer and get that done before school started. I believe that's the first time in many years. So very excited about that, as well as our class and comp. That vote will also be happening. These votes will be happening on Monday. So I'm looking forward to seeing these items on your agenda at your next meeting. So be prepared, as well as some MOUs that we're working on, trying to make things better. I wanted to point out some things that I noticed in these pictures when I saw them first on social media. As a maintenance employee myself, one of the first things I always look at is what do our facilities look like? And I'm very proud of those pictures and what is represented there. Our facilities are some of the nicest schools in the county of San Bernardino. And I'm not just saying that. I've been to other schools, and it's true. Oftentimes as president, I give kudos to many different groups, and I forget my own group. So I wanted to give kudos tonight to the maintenance department and the grounds department. They're doing an awesome job out there in the heat every day, getting it done. And we were prepared for school to open with no issues. So thank you very much and good evening.
I'm with you. Kudos to all the guys and gals who worked out in the sun and inside where it's even hotter. Okay. Communication Workers of America. They may or may not show up, so they're checking. Okay. Rialto School Managers Association. My mom used to say, no news is good news. I'm not sure I believe that anymore. Okay. All right, G3, comments from Acting Superintendent.
So I'll keep my comments brief. President Martinez, we have a second board meeting after this. I want to say I had the joy of visiting our schools on the first day of school, and our facilities really look wonderful. All the principals did a great job welcoming the kids. I went to Warner Elementary. They had the Star Wars theme, and the kids were welcomed by staff and students. I also went with Mr. Brinker. We went together to the schools and really enjoyed them. We went to Warner, Simpson, Eisenhower. At Eisenhower, it was really interesting to see the early college program because that's my baby. I wanted to see it. And the dual enrollment classes have tripled at some schools. That means from original 36 kids, we've gone to 108 with the incoming ninth graders. So it was really nice to see that. The summer commencement ceremony, of the graduation ceremony in July, was really good for our kids who graduated in the summer program. And also I went to National Night Out on August 6th, and we were represented well. I handed out a few Taco Cat prizes to our students who really enjoyed it. Nutrition Services came and did a wonderful job. Our safety officers were there. And Rialto Police Department, was nice to see how everyone worked well together. On August 6th and 7th, I visited some of the schools, Bemis, Dollahan, and Kelly, for the backpack giveaway. Our kids were so excited about the backpack giveaway, and even our teachers and administrators, and it was really nice. And a big thank you to Superior Groceries and Southwest Office Supplies for all the things that they donated to the school district. And then on August 8th, I had welcome from Rialto High to visit their ASB classes and talk about some of the things that were available for college for the kids. Dr. Carolyn Sweeney, thank you, and Ms. Erickson both welcomed me to the school. And the last one was the elementary back to school night on August 8th, and that was really nice to see a lot of our parents and kids coming back to their schools. And again, I want to echo what Mr. Montano said. It was really a wonderful back-to-school night, and it was very welcoming at our schools. And that's basically what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. D'Souza. Comments from members of the Board of Education? Okay, let's take it right here.
Okay, welcome back to school, and it has been amazing to see the surge of the parent involvement. You know, I'm part of the Frisbee Walking Club, and I see maintenance in the grounds at 6 in the morning, walking the track. And not only that, is that I finished by 7 to hit to work, but I saw a line of parents with their students together, waiting for breakfast. They're excited. Preston, parents were walking with their students for their first day of school. And then Morgan, the parent came back to their parent night, and it was just a thrilling involvement. They were welcome, they were excited. The community engagement is so key. It's so much a part of it. The community members were so excited. 2 retired counselors, school counselors that live close to Frisbee, had volunteered to be a part of their counseling team. Now they say, I'm retired. But the principal and their leadership staff welcome them and say, hey, after you get settled in, we would like to volunteer. Frisbee enrollment is up to 1,000. People are selecting that back at a school. Their morale is an all-time high. So it's nice. Also, I went to the Women's Club of Rialto, and they are working to give scholarship to the students and volunteer community service. So our partners are the community. They are so involved, and they want to see Rialto Unified School District be on top. And they want to support the teachers. So, you know, when we're looking at our volunteer support, you know, they have to go through the process, but they're willing because they want to be invited. That's what they told me. They said, I want to be invited to some of these assemblies. I want to go what's on. My kids are grown. I want to go in and see the kids perform. They didn't want to go to the high school, but the elementary and the middle school, they were down for that. It was nice meeting our school resource officers, the meet and greet at Eisenhower, at the middle school, just, you know, having the female, having the officers look like the community in the school. That was very important for them to look like. And talking with the police, Rialto Police Department, it's not just having the safety resource officers in addition to our safety officers, but they want to really implement the Explorer Club. You know, they want the high schoolers to be involved in learning about dispatching, learning about careers in law enforcement. So it's not just a, you know, that part of their job, their resource, but they want to bridge that gap. And so that was an interesting partnership. You know, I've been to school a lot, and then I had another call about the math literacy program. I was like, okay, at UCLA, you know, that's something that's really exciting that we're exploring. But it's very important. I know when you fall in the cracks, you know, you're just that calm student, but no one see you're struggling because you're not way below and you have not a behavior that's going to trigger anything, but they're just passing you through. And you don't check any marks that make it easy. It's not for us to make it easy. If the child's not there, it's for us to support the teachers to give that support. You didn't mention the school, but you know, there's a part, and it's more in the middle. It's more students are in the middle that they're just calm and nice, and they're just being overlooked. IEP is one thing, gifted is another, but I'm just here. I'm just here floating. Now, if they had a behavior, they would be noticed, right? But they're just calm and they're floating. So that general population, I feel you in that one. And that's something that the leadership team's really going to have to start pulling. You know, just because you're quiet and kind, they deserve all the tools for education. And I had a pen pal here that we're writing back and forth, so it's nice to see your face to face, and I look forward to visiting you in the classroom and just, you know, early education, preemie care, you know, that is really my forte. We do a lot to deliver these babies and make them to school, and we're not going to drop the ball once they're there. So this is exciting time. I'm so glad that you spoke on the playground and the improvements that we're making. But inclusion means a lot of things. But most of all, it means being seen and heard and helped. That's the meaning of inclusion. So I want to thank you, and I pass the torch.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Okay, Clerk Dominguez.
Oh, thank you, President Martinez. So first and foremost, well, welcome back to school, everybody. I hope everybody had a great summer. And first, I wanted to highlight two women. First is Andrea Ramo, as she is the first Guatemalan woman to win a gold medal in the Olympics. Second one is Celia Cruz. She is the first Afro-Latina to be on the quarter in the United States. So congratulations to those two beautiful women. Then, as Mrs. Lewis mentioned, I was able to meet our resource officers here for the Rialto School District and also meet with them, talk to them, and I love how they are wanting to bridge that gap in the law enforcement and our CTE students and have the Explorer program. You know, we really need to have those options for our students. And also, seeing them at the National Night Out on August 6th was also very inspiring to see that not only they are here in our schools, but they're also in our community. I myself was also honored to be one of the judges for the brisket tasting contest, and I will say the police did win. It is their event, but they can make a meat brisket, and they can keep our city safe as well. As a parent, I am wearing my red today because I do support REA, and I do support having the aides in the classroom. I do know the importance of having that extra support for our kindergarten teachers, and having a new primary student at home, it is a struggle. You know, they do need that extra attention. They need that constant reminder. Your eyes have to constantly be on them. So I understand these teachers 100%. I do want to ask Dr. D'Souza, what is the plan, if they can provide the board with the plan of how we're going to implement and how we're going to move forward in getting these extra aides in the classroom. I know that you guys have been working together and have been speaking with Tobin, but if you can provide the board with that plan, I know that it's going to be a work in progress. We're going to start slow, we're going to move forward, and it's like in nursing. We're going to try something, it's not going to work, or it's going to work, and then we're going to go back to the table and try to fix it. So it's going to be work, but we're going to try to do it, and next year, we're going to do it better. So we're going to move forward, we're going to keep up our spirits, and we're just going to keep going on and on and on. Because I stood up at the podium as a parent advocating for the aides in the class, because I do know the importance of it, and I'm here in the dais advocating for them as well. So again, I'm wearing my red because I do believe that those aides are important in the classroom, not just in kindergarten, but at all grade levels. So I want to keep it brief because I know we have a second board meeting. Welcome back to school. Let's make this a great year. We have wonderful resources, and let's just get things going.
Thank you very much, Clerk Dominguez. Vice President Montez.
Thank you, Board President, Mr. Martinez. Can we get a translator up to the podium?
Hello, good afternoon. Should I introduce myself? Everybody knows me. Jose Reyes, interpreter. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. I asked you to come up because I'm going to say a few words in Spanish.
Gracias, le he pedido que venga aquí porque dirá algunas palabras en español y quiero que las interprete al inglés.
So I just want to address some allegations that were brought here tonight to our school board meeting.
Quiero abordar ciertas acusaciones que se han presentado aquí esta noche ante la Junta Directiva.
No, pues wow.
Oh, wow.
¿Quién ocupa enemigos con enemigos como estos?
Who needs enemies with friends such as this?
Wow.
Wow.
¿Cómo cambian la gente?
How people change.
No era un board member que vieron caminando con estos hombres en el garage de reparación en el distrito.
It wasn't a board member whom you saw walking with those men at the repair garage in the district.
In the district. It was a high-ranking official of the district, an employee, not a board member, walking with these gentlemen, walking and looking at all of our vehicles, buses, and everything at the district maintenance office.
Fue un alto funcionario del distrito quien caminaba con estos hombres, revisando, inspeccionando los diferentes vehículos del distrito.
Ahora, si hicieron un negocio con el distrito en un tiempo y no están haciendo negocio con el distrito en este tiempo, yo entiendo que están enojados.
Now, if they conducted business with the district before and they're no longer conducting business with the district, I understand that they must be upset.
Pero antes de venir aquí y acusar a gente, tengan prueba.
But before coming here to point fingers at people, have some proof.
La hipocresía.
The hypocrisy.
Para venir aquí y hacer acusaciones de las mismas cosas que ellos mismos están haciendo.
The goal to come here and present accusations about the very same things that they themselves are doing.
You had a board member from this board on your board for your Chamber of Commerce that you kicked out.
Tuvieron a un miembro de la junta directiva, de su junta directiva de la Cámara de Comercio, que ustedes echaron para posiblemente sus propios intereses.
Y tienen la audacia para venir aquí a hacer acusaciones contra nuestro board, contra los miembros de nuestro board, cuando ellos mismos están haciendo las mismas cosas que ellos están acusando.
And you have the audacity to come here and levy accusations against members of this board when it is your board members, the members of your own board, who are carrying on these behaviors.
¿Por qué no vienen aquí y nos dicen por qué los corrieron del California Chamber of Hispanic Commerce?
Why don't you come here and tell us why you were kicked out of the California Chamber of Commerce?
¿Por qué no vienen aquí y nos dicen por qué otras agencias públicas han dejado de hacer negocio con ellos?
Why don't you come here and tell us why other public agencies have stopped doing business with them?
So, otra vez, ¿quién ocupa enemigos con amigos como estos?
So once again, who needs enemies when you have friends such as these?
Gracias.
Thank you.
Okay. We have one more item. I'm going to save my voice.
So, Mr. Martinez, I left three important things out. Can I just have a minute?
Yes, please.
So a couple of things. I know it was referred to about the UCLA math projects. Here we are working for the parents to have the UCLA math project for the 130 parents who graduated from literacy. So it's going to be UCLA versus USC on this project. Okay, so I just want you to know. So also the parents who came to talk about getting help, we do have the ELOP program at each of our schools, so you need to contact your school. Mr. Norberto Perez is here, and you can meet with him after the board meeting. He's in the West Wing. He runs the extended program, learning program, where your student can get to tutoring after school. And most schools have a late bus too, if kids are bused to school. So please take advantage of that program. Lastly, I do want to say that we met with Mr. Brinker on the kindergarten and seed program, and he was going to talk to his members and report back to us on Friday. So we had that meeting already yesterday. Thank you.
Okay, the only thing left in this meeting is adjournment.
Excuse me, could you have Mr. Perez come up here so they can put a face to him?
Yeah, Mr. Norberto Perez, if he's back there, can he come forward so they can see the person who's in charge of the ELOP program? Thank you. Go ahead, Dr. Chavez. Do you have anything to say?
Yes.
We're also going to have Dr. Robin Millen come up here and support with the bullying comments that were made. We want to make sure that your students are supported.
They're not back there, Miss. So, Miss Chavez, can you give the location so that or the phone number so the parent can call? There, neither Mr. Perez or Miss McMillan is there. We can, if you after the board meeting, if you can give that.
Is Dr. Lynn here?
No, Dr. McMillan is
Dr.
not.
McMillan and Mr. Perez are not here, but I will stay after the board meeting and make that connection.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Adjournment. The next regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Rialto Unified School District will be held on August 28th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Dr. John Casalunas Education Center, 182 East Walnut Avenue, Rialto, California. Rialto, California. Materials distributed or presented to the Board of Education at the board meeting are available upon request from the superintendent's office. Motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Okay, everyone at once. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the time is 8:54. I'm going to request a 10-minute recess here.
I agree.
Everybody can have a bio break. My kidneys thank you, my bladder thanks you. Okay, we are back after our quick 10-minute break. This is Rialto Unified School District School Facilities Corporation special meeting tonight of the Board of Directors and the agenda for August 14th, 2024. And this is supposed to be immediately following, but you can blame me and my old kidneys, bladder.
And my coffee habits.
And not only that, my coffee habits, as I'm reminded. Okay, call to order is at 9:07. Dr. D'Souza, do we have public comments?
No, none at this time.
Nothing on the agenda, and not on the agenda?
No, we don't have any.
Okay. They're being gentle and kind to us. My friend over here, Vice President Montez, remembers the night we stayed till 2 a.m. I didn't want to revisit those days.
I haven't been inducted to those.
You don't want to be.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, adoption of the agenda. Motion and second, please.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Vote by board members all at once.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, discussion action items. Election appointment of corporation officers. Motion and second, please.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, it says elect and appoint the reference officers of the corporation. As usual, can I make the recommendation to just save time and use the current roster and just move it right over?
I'll second that.
Okay. Is that all right with everyone?
I'm good with that.
Okay. Vote by board members. Aye?
Aye.
Abstain?
Okay. Sorry, taking notes. It does pass. There were 3 ayes. Okay, authorize all corporation filings and submissions to be completed. Motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Authorize district staff and corporate officers to undertake and complete all necessary filings, submissions, and reports for the corporation. All costs of submissions and reports for the corporation. All costs, lost my place. All costs of the corporation's filings and audit reports are the responsibility of the district at a cost not to exceed $100 and to be paid from Fund 40, Special Reserve for Capital Outlay Fund. Discussion, questions, comment? Hearing none, everyone at once, aye?
Aye.
Abstain?
Mr. Montes?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, D3, adopt corporation resolution number 242507, authorizing the execution and delivery of Rialto Unified School District certificates of participation, 2024 kitchen and meeting facilities financing. Motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This is to authorize execution and delivery of a ground lease, a lease agreement, an assignment agreement, and a trust agreement with respect to the execution and delivery of Rialto Unified School District certificates of participation, 2024 kitchen and meeting facilities financing, evidencing principal in an aggregate amount of not to exceed $55 million, and authorizing the execution of necessary documents and certificates and related actions. All at once, board? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
And thank you, Board President Mr. Martinez, for not referring to those certificates of participation as COPs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I almost referred to the common bacon food. Okay, anyway. Wow. Wish all meetings were this concise. Adjournment.
So
Motion
move.
second.
Second.
Thank you. Everyone at once.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Time is 9:11.
I think the break took longer.
Wow. What a waste of trees.
It's all your backup.
So did I.
It'll be
Yeah.
longer.